It can feel like entering into a storm when embarking on a new creative project, and what we really need is to push through the uncomfortable places and get to the breakthrough we need. We're going to talk about leaning into your career, and Lil Nas X's new music video stirs up some controversy. Stick around, we have a lot to discuss. Hello and welcome to Music Industry City's Monday Kickoff, where we offer up important tips for a successful career and get you motivated for the week ahead. I'm Pierre Schwing, and joining me, as always, is my fellow co-host Aisha Adamo and the Duke. If there's something you'd like to chime in about, join us in the chat. Leave a comment below, whatever you want to form to communicate with us. We'd love to hear from you and get your thoughts on this. But it's Monday. Let's get right into it and kick off by checking in with Aisha and the Duke. What is up?
Hey.
Hey. You know, I was going to say happy Monday. And I'm like, I'm tired. I feel like I'm tired of people just saying, like, posting happy Monday, happy Friday, happy Wednesday. And so I actually Googled it, and I was like, and there's like people saying, like, there's articles saying, like, stop saying happy Monday. Like, stop sending emails saying happy Monday, everybody. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, well,
I like the
sometimes it's
Go ahead.
yeah, it's just more
Alicia.
complicated than that. My feelings about Monday are complicated.
Dave, what were you saying?
No, it's just another Manic Monday by the Bengals.
Oh,
It's just
yeah.
anything having to do with Monday, it just makes me think of that. And it should be that. It should be Manic Monday. Like Happy Manic Monday, Bengals started up.
Is that the one that Prince wrote?
No, he wrote
Yeah.
Walk Like an Egyptian,
Oh, okay.
which
That
was
was it.
maybe
Got
the
it.
better tune out of the two, but
Right
both
on.
classic.
So Dave, what do you? Speaking of musicians, what do you have on tap for today?
Tonight we're gonna talk. Oh, today we're gonna. This I love this. This is great. Today we're gonna talk about Satan, Satan, and Lil Nas X. Yes.
Let's get right to it. All right, I love it. The story of Adam and Eve. Is that where we're going?
Satan in 2021. You know,
Right
Adam and
on.
Eve is old school. We're gonna upgrade it.
Okay, because I know the Lil Nas X uses like the Adam and Eve story, but it's all Satan. So yeah, we're going to get into that, the whole controversy behind the music video. But first, hey Aisha, you want to talk over here?
Yeah, I'm just gonna talk over here.
Yeah, we'll go you over
Here I
here.
am, over here. Now I'm over here.
We're just going to like, hey, you want to go over there? All right. So yeah, I mean, entering a storm. New creative projects are definitely a challenge, and you never know what's going to come out of it. And it's like, what do I do? Where do I start? Where am I going? Uh,
Yeah.
it's the brain doesn't like that. Brain doesn't like
No, it
doing
doesn't.
things. Yeah, it's like getting out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, sometimes the brain just has a meltdown when, you go there, but you gotta lean into the meltdown because sometimes that's a part of it too. That's what I'm talking about today.
All
That's
right.
what I'm
Well,
experiencing myself in life. So organic. It's
well, just like Dave said, it's a manic Monday. So let's get to it. I'll let you talk over there.
okay. Look over here. Um, sometimes, yeah, we're artists and we're pushing hard and approaching a breakthrough, and it feels like a breakdown because those things are sort of two sides of the very same coin. And sometimes it just feels like it's all too much. And maybe it is. Got to take it from me because just today I totally messed up a booking and let a bunch of people down because I had it in my head that April 26th was tomorrow, but it is today, as we all know. And sometimes we're just, pushing with all we have and things just unravel. And that happens. So we have to kind of accept that as a part of this process. It's all a part of it, especially for creatives. And I like to think back to my Meisner training as an actor and how so many actors in the first year of Meisner training have this total emotional meltdown connecting to their childhood and all kinds of stuff, immediately preceding the big breakthrough that unlocks their abilities as an actor and their ability to do the craft. So, in so many arenas, there's this idea of having to hit rock bottom before there's a real change. And that's absolutely human. I think it's a cliche because it really is something that we all have to go through sometimes. So, sure, sometimes we're doing too much, and that's why, and we need to slow things down. But sometimes too much is actually a part of it. Sometimes too much is exactly what is needed to be the catalyst for change in our creative work and in our lives. I think the key is that if you can persist through the meltdown, if you can proceed and continue and make your way into the storm, eventually you'll find your way to the eye of the storm, that place at the center where all the energy is revolving around you and you're, still and calm and grounded and centered in the middle of all the swirl. And instead of you being whipped around by the winds, you're in control of it. So when you get there, with all the tumultuous times that you can see swirling past you, you realize that it all kind of makes sense, and it never makes sense when you're in the storm. The storm only makes sense when you're in a place of perspective about it. You need to be in that eye of the storm to say, oh, that was a storm and it all makes sense now. And I had to go through that. I had to go through those breakdowns to make it to where I am now. So if you can just put it in perspective and, you have to be willing to enter that storm. You have to be willing to go into it in order to have that experience. So if you're at the beginning of a new creative process, a new thing that you're trying out, you just need to bolster yourself and say, okay, this is the storm and I'm going into it. And I know that it's not going to totally destroy me. In fact, the total destruction process is going to grow a new me, and that is good. And I'm here for it. So yes, you will get wrapped up in it and spun around, and sometimes you'll think that you're never going to make it through, but you will, and you must. And all you have to do is just persevere. That is the way, and that is enough. So if you're in a moment of heading towards that spiral, that storm, know that you're on the right path. And if you're in the midst of it all, know that you need to keep going, keep pushing forward. This is an adventure. Face it head on. And when it gets crazy, lean into it even more. It's like what Prince says. We were talking about Prince just before. When the elevator tries to break down, punch a higher floor. And that's what I want you to do. If you're in this storm this week, this month, this year, just punch a higher floor. See the storm, go in, get into it. And that's what I've got for today.
Right on, right on. Hey, you're going to have to give us that last piece one more time because you just froze. It was kind of like, So
no.
went all Max headroomy for a second. So what is that? What's the suggestion for the week ahead?
Just to go into it, lean into the storm and, move forward. It's all that you can do and just be there for it. When the elevator tries to break down, punch a higher floor, like Prince says.
Love it. And, lean into the storm. That's that old, go, and I think this might be a theme. If you're going through hell, keep going, the old Winston Churchill statement. And we're going to be talking, since Dave, we're already talking about, Satan and all that stuff. So, we like to figure out a way to tie the two topics together. So,
and this goes really beautifully.
Yeah, it all ties in. And so and I actually screwed up. So we're talking about screwing something up. I hit the wrong button here because I was trying to fix something over on Twitch. There was just muting something over there. And I was like, oh, I got to hit that button. I was like, oh, whoops. So, things are going to happen. No matter even how prepared you are, lean into it. It's like, oh, yeah. And if you make a mistake, hey, I made a mistake. So it happens. So, with that, we're going to come back to this and talk more, but I want to bring Dave over to the stage. What's the good word, Dave? Hey.
You.
Hey, what's up, man?
What's up?
So, Lil Nas X.
Right? Lil Nas X. Fascinating.
Yeah, we have the, Old Town Road. All right. Great song. hit, all that. And then he comes out with the new song, Montero, Call Me By Your Name. And people like, conservatives like Candace Owens start freaking out, losing their minds. I know there's an article we reference, and that's going to be in the show notes below. And it's like, the biblical references. And, one of the things that some of the critics are pointing out things like, quote, promoting devil worship and raunchy, inappropriate, hypersexualized behaviors.
Right.
That's what people are saying about this.
True.
What are your thoughts?
It's true. That's true what they said.
I'm going to let you ride with your thoughts here for a moment.
All right, that's 100% true statement what they said. It's over sexualized for sure. The thing that's strange to me, and if you look back to the song, Panini, if you go back to one song ago, right? He was already starting to do like some demonic looking evil thing, right? So he went from Old Town Road, which was a big song, sampled Nine Inch Nails, had Cyrus on it, Billy Ray Cyrus, and it was a big song. He was a cowboy. He had previously slept in a closet at his grandma's house or something. So he was like kind of like an overnight star from nobody to somebody. He didn't even play any shows. You know what I mean? And so then he comes out and it's a big song and all the kids love it and he's playing at the schools, right? Then the next song was Panini. And if you go watch this video, he's kind of futuristic and songs kind of like it's like a little more minor and dark. And he's got a little demon looking thing going on, right? And so then the song after that is the one that we're talking about now. And then he's having sex with Satan. So it's like a pretty fast fade. And it really makes you think about songs like the Macarena and just like classic songs that you do at your wedding and at your bar mitzvah, your sweet 16. Like Old Town Road was right there, and somehow Macarena, none of those other songs went into Satanism, but somehow he went from there to Satanism. And not just Satanism, that he's having sex and like gyrating on Satan, okay? And there's a label behind it and a whole marketing team, right? Because he said, you're not going to mess this one up for me. This was a 9-month preparation. So for 9 months, they were like, Satan, yes, this is fire, Jim. Way to bring it to the table, guys. Like, we need the right treatment for this one. Really going to blow it up with Satan. Okay, so then they did the Satan thing. Okay, so that's an interesting one that it got through so many doors on that, being that it's like, big companies that have all types of people on their boards and whatnot. Then the next thing after that was to pretty much rip off Nike with a sneaker that's pretty much a Nike Air Max and put blood in it, human blood, real human blood in the shoe, and only make 666 of them. And then you look back, right? And you look back and you go like, man, they were really mad about Ozzy, huh? Like, that was a big deal. Like they took Judas Priest and all these dudes and they said like, nah, you're making kids commit suicide. Like, you got backward lyrics and your album is The Number of the Beast, and that's too wild. But now you look forward and it's like he's gyrating on Satan. Major label monster corporate entities are like thumbs up on it. And then we're gonna do something else and put real human blood in the shoe. And it's like, my thought was like, okay, now what if you have some crazy person out there and it's like, yo, I'm going to kill now because the message in this told me to kill, and I'm going to use the blood from the shoe in my killing. And then when the detectives come like Law and Order and they go, okay, whose blood is this? My question is, call up Lil Nas X and say, whose blood is this in these shoes? For 666 shoes, was it one person's blood? Was it your whole family? Was it people you didn't even know? You know what I mean? Was it a dude that you got off the street and you gave him a couple $100 for his blood? Is it your blood? There's so many questions in it, and it really makes you think in the time of like the Harvey Weinsteins and, like the judge said that the names on the list couldn't even come out because it would be too shocking for our society. And it just goes hand in hand when you say, well, that makes perfect sense. Of course we need Satan in the video. Like, we have to be stripping and gyrating on Satan. And of course we have to come out with real, shoes with human blood. Like, it makes perfect sense. 2021. Like, let's push that towards the kids, man. You know what I mean? Like, this is going to be good. And everything's just gonna line up right exactly where we want it. So, it was just for me, it was just like it made sense. It was like Starburst. It was like I was just ready for, to be sponsored by Cheerios. Little Nas X, Satan, sponsored by Skittles. Taste the rainbow.
And people are talking about it, and that's what it comes down to, is because people are talking about it, and that gets plays, that gets more attention, that gets more media, and that, so it's like no bad publicity. I mean, yeah, they talk about this. He was utilizing the biblical story of Adam and Eve, used story of an allegory of coming out as gay in the eyes of conservative Christians, being tempted into sin, falling from grace. I mean, this is all this big story. I mean, this is something that they, like you said, they planned. This isn't something like, oh, let me just go shoot this. Like, they really delved in. I mean, it goes back to things like, going back to Madonna, Papa Don't Preach. Okay? And it's like that was banned on MTV for a short period of time and banned in certain countries. And because of the imagery and everything and the cross. So it's like, it's not something new, and it's shocking, and it's all part of this storytelling that has been in the music industry for years. But you're saying, it's like, yeah, going back to Ozzy, the myth of biting the head off the bats, all the the satanic messaging behind metal. So it's just another decade of another artist doing something.
Yeah, but it's just a little bit more extreme in this case because Ozzy wasn't promoted to, little kids, where it's like Little Nas X might as well have been a troll. You know what I mean? Like he was a troll, and all of a sudden he went from, and I don't mean troll, like I'm talking about Trolls World Tour, like Poppy with the pink hair, like that's for the kids. Like Little Nas X was like a Smurf, and he went from like tra la 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 to like Satan, and that's quite a jump, in a fast year and a half time.
Yeah. So, all right, let's bring Aisha back in and let's tie it all together. Hey.
Hey.
So and speaking of Poppy, like Poppy was artist Poppy. Poppy was a pop star, and she was doing all this like real bubblegummy stuff, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, she's metal. It's like, and that was in a short period of time. And talking about like Miley Cyrus's career, where she was like, the sweet Hannah Montana, and then she's like, I got to break that mold. And is it part of just breaking that mold that he's saying, this is what's to come? I need to do. As like, the a sledgehammer to my career to make that big change.
I mean, I
Is
think
that the
that's
breakthrough?
absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's something that's been done traditionally for all these like pop icons that are very much in that younger realm. Break them into like the mature artist that's like sexier and more like relevant to an older crowd. But I think you were bringing up Madonna, and I think you meant the Like a Prayer, because that, I think that was the video that was banned for. When I think the interesting thing though is like a Prayer is actually a very religious song, in a deeply spiritual way. And I think, I don't know, I've barely watched the video for the Lil Nas X, but I like the song, and I think there's a whole other side to it. It's funny. I think someone posted on, I think I saw a TikTok of, I think it was the Judson Church that had the lyrics like, call me when you want, call me when you need, the lyrics from the Nas X song, and attributing them to Jesus. And it's like, oh, call me when you want, call me when you need. Like that, thinking about it in that way, there's a way that all of these things can be twisted to their opposite. And so everything carries in it its equal and its opposite. So it's a bigger thing than that. I don't know. But then at the same time, it's also just like doing something that's wildly controversial to break through the noise. And I think they did that. They did it, yeah.
And you're absolutely right. It was just like a prayer. It was just like, it was one of those just popped in my head. So it was like, I think it was off the same album maybe. So, but that era.
Totally.
Dave, any more thoughts on this?
I got two thoughts. One, if that video should come on and you have kids, I feel for you you have to explain that to your children. And then the other thing I think about is Satan really doesn't mean as much as it used to, because now you really have the conversation of like white Jesus is actually scarier than Satan. When you look and you say like all these, people that have white Jesus in their home, but Jesus wasn't even white. And so that's just even more scary that like people ran with something that's like so false. Well, Satan is like, he stayed the same and he's not as scary as he used to be. You know what I mean? I think the concept of hell is a little bit faded. You know what I
And
mean?
yeah, and it depends on like, what your religion is and where you are in the world and your beliefs. And it's like each one has a different thought on, what the Bible interprets. So it's really interesting. I mean, and does Lil Nas, does he even believe anything that he's thinking, he's doing? Is he just saying, is it for shock treatment? That's my question. It's like, he's just using the most, the one of the most, I can't think of the word right now, but it's like one of those themes that is the most shocking to people. Like, you can't mess with this. You can't play around with this. This is crossing that line. And is he doing it just for the shock of it all?
Marilyn
Possibly.
Manson, man. Very possible.
Right on. All right, final thoughts, Aisha.
I don't know. I think, you just dive into it all, whether it's, everything can become everything else. So the breakdown can become the breakthrough. The fall from heaven can become soaring back there. Everything is transmutable and can become another thing. So enjoy that.
Right on. Dave, final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Spread the positive vibes. Spread the love, compassion, have empathy in your heart. Walk into the world, seeing how you could be of service to your fellow human being, and make it a better place for you and for me. We are the world.
We are the children. All right. Thanks, Dave. Awesome stuff. And that is going to be it for today. So let's rock it out. All right, everybody. Have a good one. Cheers.